Hello, everyone. I believe we are back. I believe we are live. I believe we are good. It is so good to see everyone again. Hello. I believe my mic is fixed. Welcome to another episode of the live chat. So, for anyone that missed what happened yesterday the plan was to do a live chat. It wasn't the original plan, but after all the crazy Halo news broke, I decided, hey, let's jump in, let's do a live chat, let's break this all down. And lo and behold, about halfway through the chat, my mic decides to break, my Yeti mic, and my voice got like insanely crazy deep. And it sounded hilarious, like I was drunk and all over the place. So we decided to call the chat early yesterday. I missed tons of people's comments, tons of people's questions. So I definitely felt like I owed everyone another chat, and I wanted to do another chat. So we're back. We're here today again. The rare back-to-back 2 chats in a row, but we're here to get going. We're here to get rocking. Thank you everyone who's shown up to the chat, and I apologize about yesterday with what happened. I'm really sorry about that, but it's good to see everyone. The main topic, of course, is going to be basically what we started with yesterday, and that is Halo Infinite. For anyone that would have somehow missed this, which I'm assuming if you're here, you definitely haven't, Halo Infinite delayed to 2021, an undisclosed date. What that means for Microsoft, what that means for the Series X launch, what it means for Sony and PlayStation 5. There's a whole bunch of that we can break down. There's other news floating around. WB Games, despite some reports, might still be up for sale. We can go into that. We can go into other possible game delays, pricing, whatever you want to talk about. The way this show works, you drop your comments, you drop your questions down into chat, and we break it all down. So if there's anything you want to talk about, start dropping those questions. It looks like we really quick have a super chat. Let me hit that super chat right off the bat, and then I'm going to jump into the non-super chat questions. Timmer72299 kicking it off with a super chat right off the bat. Thank you, Timmer. You're always just about the first person or one of the first to be dropping super chats. Thank you for the support always, Timmer. It means a lot to me. Really means a lot. So thank you so much for the super chat. Saying, hi, Benji. How likely is the Cyberpunk 2077 delay? Yeah, this is a great question. I'll tell you what, Timmer, I will be devastated if this game gets delayed again, especially now that Halo's delayed as well. Man, that would be such a blow to this holiday. We would still have a lot of big games, right? We would still have Assassin's Creed Valhalla out there. We would still have Call of Duty, which has yet to be revealed, but has been confirmed to be coming out this year. So, we would still have some really big games hitting. We'd still have Watch Dogs Legion in October, but Cyberpunk missing this year would be a massive blow, especially now that Halo's gone too. And I think it would hurt especially for Microsoft, because Microsoft has, the marketing deal on Cyberpunk, right? CD Projekt Red and Microsoft, really going all the way back to Witcher 2, have been really close. They've been a very close relationship. If you remember, Witcher 2 originally was exclusive on consoles to Xbox. Of course, it was on PC first, but Xbox was the only console that got Witcher 2. So they've had a really close relationship, and I feel like Cyberpunk is really tied into Xbox's marketing for this holiday. So yeah, that would be a huge blow to the industry in general, as well as I think to Xbox. In terms of likelihood, Timmer, I'm going to say I don't think it's like super likely. I don't think it's crazy likely to happen just because that game has already been delayed multiple times now. I feel like it already caught the quote COVID delay. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen other things get moved around and shifted after COVID. I feel like we've already gotten that for Cyberpunk. So I'd be really surprised, honestly, if it slips out of this year. I'm seeing a lot of people say that they think it's going to. But Timmer, I'm going to put it personally as kind of unlikely. just because it's already been delayed multiple times, and also because the last showing that we just saw of it, you know, they just did this new Night City video, and I thought it was the best the game's ever looked. I really did. Like, I've been hyped for that game from day one, but in other showings, there were times where I could kind of see where people were coming from, where they weren't as excited and they thought certain things maybe looked a little janky and stuff. But I thought this last showing looked like really good. I thought it was the best Cyberpunk has looked since they've shown it. So I think it's finally coming together, and we're good. I think it's still going to make November. I'll be devastated if not. And then we got another super chat here from Kelligrim. Thank you so much for the super chat. No question, just saying here's $5. LOL. Well, thank you, Kelligrim. Means the world to me. Helps out the YouTube channel a lot. As you all know, the super chats are really what drive revenue for me on here, because my videos get usually around 1,000 views. Like, that's like my go-to view amount is about 1,000 views per video, and anyone will tell you that's not much ad revenue. So thank you so much, Kelligrim, and thanks everyone who does the super chats. That's really where I make any money at all at this. It's not really through ad revenue at all for me. I'm not near big enough. Okay, so let's start breaking down your questions, everyone. Costas here right off the top. Hi Benji, do you expect Ghost of Tsushima to sell more than Horizon Zero Dawn? Ooh. Do you expect Final Fantasy VII to reach 10 million? Two really good and really interesting questions here, Costas. Okay, so let's do the first one. Ghost of Tsushima we know is selling faster than Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Ghost of Tsushima did 2.4 million unit sales in 3 days, whereas it took Horizon Zero Dawn about 2 weeks to hit a similar number to that. So we know it started out the gate faster, and also, Costas, I will say it's showing fantastic legs in multiple markets. Multiple markets in Europe, Japan, what I'm seeing in the US, it looks like legs are really good. So Costas, here's what I'll say. I don't know if it's going to pass Horizon Zero Dawn like forever, like lifetime sales. Keep in mind, Horizon's going to be way over 10 million sales now, like way over that. I think Ghost of Tsushima is going to hit 10 million. I just don't know how much more than that. We still need to see more legs. It's only been out for like a month, so I need to keep watching it before I say it for sure outsells Horizon long term. But what I will say, Costas, is I do think Ghost of Tsushima is going to hit that 10 million milestone faster than Horizon did. So I think it is going to keep selling faster. My only question is, with PlayStation 5 right around the corner and things like that, if it has the really late legs like Horizon did. Horizon just kept selling and selling and selling, you know what I mean? So Ghost of Tsushima is definitely selling faster, but I'm not going to commit to higher than Horizon Zero Dawn until I see some more data on that. In terms of Final Fantasy VII, it's definitely going to hit 10 million eventually. Keep in mind, there's going to be a PC release for this, and there's also more than likely going to be an Xbox release for this. Sometime next year. Sony had exclusive rights to Final Fantasy VII Remake for 1 year. So until April 2021, that game is exclusive to PlayStation. But after that, it can go multi-platform. So I definitely think eventually it's going to hit 10 million. I don't think it'll hit 10 million on just PlayStation. It's over 5 million now, which is a good rate. But I don't think it'll do 10 million on just PlayStation 4. I think it's going to need the PC version and the Xbox version to get there as well. But yes, eventually, Costas, I do. I think it'll hit 10 million eventually. All right, I think we had 2 super chats drop. Let me hit those. I'm pretty sure I saw 2. Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we have one from Killian Butler. Thank you, Killian. Hey Benji, with the Halo news, I think this would be a good time for Sony to confirm Miles Morales is still on track. I think you're spot on, Killian, and I think you will get an update on Miles Morales here really soon. Keep in mind, we're on August 12th right now. The 2-year anniversary, yeah, because that was 2018. The 2-year anniversary for Spider-Man PS4 is about to come up. It's at the beginning of September. So I could see them doing a big Miles Morales update right at the 2-year anniversary of Spider-Man PS4. Maybe they do that a little bit before then, but considering we're like so close, I could kind of see that happening. Maybe get a sales update for Spider-Man PS4, which I believe is getting close to 20 million units now in sales, probably getting pretty close, considering the last time we heard it was at 13.5 million, or was it 13.2 million? And that was in August of last year. So we've had another full year of sales on top of that. It's probably pretty close to 20 million. So Killian, I could see them doing like a big sales update as well as a Miles Morales update at the beginning of September. Early September is what I'm thinking on that. But yes, I agree. They do need to comment on Miles Morales here really soon. And then Frostbite Slash with a super chat. Thank you so much, Frostbite. What date do you think the next PS5 event will take place? Well, Bloomberg has come out, I believe it was Bloomberg, and stated that there is another Sony news drop of some sort planned for this month. My guess is it's going to be, you know, if that's true, if that holds true, probably sometime in the next 2 weeks, but I don't know that it's going to be like a full-on event, like how we think of an event, because we just had a State of Play. Now, we've had Sony do State of Plays pretty close together before, right? We've had them do, for example, The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima State of Plays. Those were only a couple weeks apart. So it could happen, but I'm guessing it's not going to be like a full-on event. I think they're probably just going to give us some updates, maybe some posts on the PlayStation blog for games like Spider-Man Miles Morales and games like this, give us some more updates on the launch lineup. My guess, Frostbite, is the next 2-ish weeks, somewhere around there, is probably going to be where we hear something. And then Timur here with another super chat. Thank you so much, Timur, saying the ZeniMax website update thoughts, is an IPO likely? Yeah, I saw you post that, Timur. It is looking like it, isn't it? It's very much looking like it. Could be right around the corner. I didn't see all of the details. I just saw what you posted over on Twitter. But yeah, it looks like the website has been updated, and I don't remember the exact way it was worded, but it's looking likely, you know, and this had been rumored before. So Timur, I think it very, very well could happen. It would not be surprising to me. I've been kind of surprised that they're still completely private. So many gaming companies now aren't. There's really only a small handful of big players that are still completely private. So Timur, I think there's a very strong chance, yeah. And that website update, I noticed that when you posted it, it very well could be right around the corner. Franklin Clinton with a super chat. Thank you so much for all these super chats, everyone. Don't worry, for people that didn't drop super chats, I'll be getting to your questions as well, but I always want to hit super chats first. Franklin Clinton 98, unrelated to Halo, but do you think the PS4 will drop in price as the PS5 comes out? Would a $200 pace PS4 give another boost to PS4 sales long term? Franklin, yes. I do think you're finally going to see a PlayStation 4 price drop when the PlayStation 5 releases. Sony has done such a kind of honestly amazing job of holding that price tag high this gen. Whenever you think about it, the PlayStation 4 launched at $399. Here we are at the very end of this generation, and it's still $299. They've only come down $100 over the course of an entire generation. That is amazing. That's amazing for their wallet. You know, they're getting good money off of that now. Obviously, when the PlayStation 4 very first came out, you don't make very much money off of hardware. You make very little. But usually, as a gen drags out, as it gets longer, the price of manufacturing comes down typically, not always, but typically, and you start to earn a little bit higher margin on those consoles. So yeah, Franklin, I think, though, you will finally see that PS4 drop in price once the PlayStation 5 comes out. If it goes to $200, I don't know. That is pretty low. That is pretty cheap. But I could see at least $50. I could see it going down to $249.99. $200 would be amazing. If they get it down to $200, you're going to see a big surge of PlayStation 4 sales, like a big late surge. Even though PlayStation 5 is right around the corner, keep in mind there's a lot of people that, are just looking for deals. They're not hardcore gamers. They don't go out and buy the biggest games day one. They just they want deals. They want to get things cheap. And at $200, that is a very attractive price tag. So if they do get it that low, Franklin, it would be amazing. We've seen them go that low on like Black Friday and stuff, but not permanently. But I would say at least I think it'll go down $50 permanently to $249, $99, and potentially $200. But yeah, for sure at least $250. Kellegrim here with another super chat. My goodness, thank you so much, Kellegrim. Thank you so much. A question this time. When do you think we'll be able to pre-order PS5s roughly? So my prediction, Kellegrim, has been August. Since I first put that out there, I think it was towards the end of June. I was saying I really don't think we're going to get price or release dates until August. It's what I said back then. It was like the last week of June that I put that out there, that I was feeling that way from the things I was kind of seeing, from the rumors that were floating around. It just looked unlikely to me back then that we would get it at all in July, and I figured it would be not until August that it happened. So my guess, Kellegrim, and again, this is a guess, I don't have inside info on this one, I think you'll be able to pre-order the PlayStation 5 finally, officially. I know some countries are doing pre-orders there kind of more unofficially, but I mean like the official Sony pre-orders are live. I think that's going to be sometime this month, mostly, Kellegrim, because we're getting very close now to when retailers have to know when this is going to happen, like when the date is, what they're charging. Like, we're getting very, 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 very close. On one hand, it's like, as consumers, we all want to know, hey, when is the PlayStation 5 going to come out? I want to know what I'm spending. But really, retailers, they're the ones that are going to have to make inventory space. They're the ones that are going to have to take these pre-orders, how much shelf space they're allocating. You have to know that kind of info months in advance for a very big product like this. So, Kellegrim, I just don't think they can wait till September. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they push it till then. But I just don't think they can. So I think you will get pre-orders this month. Sometime, we're on the 12th, so there's only about 3 weeks or so left in the month. So sometime this month, I think. I'll be shocked if they push it till September. Vertical 21 or Vertical 21 with a super chat. Thank you so much, Vertical 21. Thank you so much. What do you think about VR support for Xbox Series X? I've been wondering about this myself. We know Microsoft hasn't expressed interest, so a new headset is out. But what about Oculus Rift support? More thoughts below. Yes, Vertical 21. I do think that's an important thing to note. Let me note, you have 2 more points here, and then I'm going to answer your question fully. Having a box for room scale VR in your living room would be appealing, plus VR and Game Pass. I agree with all of this. Only problem is that Oculus needs DisplayPort, and current HDMI adapters only support 60 FPS. Maybe they could partner with Oculus to develop a headset for cheap. Sorry for the long one, but have had this on my mind for a while. No, it's a great question, Vertical 21. It's a very good question, and I'm with you. One thing I've noticed, it seems like Microsoft and Facebook, for better or worse, maybe kind of getting along now. There might be something going on there. We know, for example, that Mixer, whenever that went down, when that went away, it all went over to Facebook Gaming, so there was a deal made there. I would love for the Series X to get some kind of Oculus support. I agree with you. I think it's unlikely that Microsoft themselves are going to make a VR headset. I just don't think that's going to happen. They haven't really shown any interest in that. Maybe one day, but I don't think in the next couple years. But what we've had seen, Vertical 21, is that Oculus is on fire right now in a good way. They are making serious gains in the VR space. Like, they really, really are. Oculus Quest has been selling absolutely amazing. It's been like sold out for, months and months, really since the holidays. It's been so hard to get a hold of an Oculus Quest. And now that we see Microsoft and Facebook starting to get along here, starting to get a little bit of deals going, keep in mind Oculus is owned by Facebook. I would love to see Oculus support. Like you said, there is a little bit of hurdles there, but the Series X is definitely powerful enough to run VR games without a doubt, run them very well. So Vertical 21, I wouldn't rule that out, to be honest with you. If some kind of adapter gets made, I would not rule out at all that Microsoft and Oculus come to some kind of deal on supporting it on the Series X. I don't think that's impossible at all. It's something I've been wondering myself. All right. Super chats are cleared for now, so I'm going to head back up and get to the questions for those that have not paid for super chats, but thank you so much, everyone who did. Patrick Bitar here. Hello, Patrick. Good to see you. Hey, Benji. Before the news of Halo broke, I expected already Xbox to have a disappointing gen ahead, and now even more. They should have gone all out looking at the current gen, and instead it seems they're dropping the ball again. I thought they could have been closer to PlayStation, but now it seems they're going to be even more farther behind. What do you think? They're running hot again. Good questions, Patrick. On some points I'm with you, on some points I'm not. Here's what I'll say, and I kind of touched on this on the last chat. I definitely feel like Microsoft didn't capitalize on the momentum that they had coming out of the Game Awards last year. Their momentum felt extremely strong. You saw the hardware. You saw Hellblade 2. Microsoft felt ahead of the game actually on next gen, ahead of Sony. It's funny. It's hard to remember now because so much has happened the last year, but there was a point in time early in this year where people were very frustrated with Sony, where they were saying, hey, Microsoft's talking, Microsoft's showing all of this. Where's Sony at? Why is Sony so quiet? And Microsoft felt like they were really surging. And I was starting, Patrick, to really think that they could be very competitive in the US and the UK and potentially even take back the US market. Keep in mind, in the United States, globally, it's not close. Globally, PlayStation 4 has outsold the Xbox One more than 2-1. But in the US, it's very close. We're talking, in terms of total install base, very slim difference between Xbox and PlayStation. So I thought, hey, with all this momentum, if Microsoft, keeps moving this way, if they really keep dominating the messaging and the marketing like this, they could really do amazing. And I just feel like they haven't capitalized the way I was hoping they were going to after that early momentum. It definitely seems like they've slowed down in terms of people's opinions on it. Halo getting delayed is a huge blow. It really is. Microsoft, I sent out a tweet that said, I feel like Microsoft, if Series X is going to run third-party games better, like they really need to market that heavily now. Like come out and visually and audibly state, hey, this is what the PlayStation 5 is going to be running it at. This is what we're going to be running it at. Keep in mind, a lot of this is NDA, so Microsoft's not going to have the official way of saying these kinds of things. But if they really are getting feedback from developers that, hey, Cyberpunk is going to run better on Xbox than PS5 whenever that next-gen patch comes out, Valhalla, all of these games, they need to really start shouting that from the rooftops because they just don't have big exclusives, it seems, at launch besides updates. So, yeah, Patrick, I'm with you in that I feel like they've not capitalized momentum the way I thought. And that, yeah, I'm starting to lean back towards Sony. I always thought PlayStation 5 would outsell the Xbox family, worldwide. I thought that was pretty obvious. But like I said, I really thought there was a chance Microsoft could take back the US market. And now I'm more doubting that. I'm more doubting that now. After the last couple months, but we're still early. Who knows? There could be some big curveballs coming. Forzathon, hey Benji, when do you think Halo Infinite launches? Do you think they will push it back as much as an entire year? Forzathon, here's what I'll say. I definitely don't think it's going to be early in 2021. I feel like if this was, planned to be like a spring 2021 release, they would have said that out of the gate to make the blow a little less painful, right? Because here's the thing. When you're delaying something as important as Halo, I mean, it's huge. That is huge for their marketing for next gen. That's huge for their revenue that they were going to earn off the game. That's huge in terms of Game Pass subscribers that we're going to get this year that now they're not. That's huge in terms of the free-to-play multiplayer on PC and how that could have blown up. I feel like if it was close, if they were like, hey, we're only delaying this a couple months, I think they would have given you some kind of notice of that. I think they would have said, hey, it's delayed till spring 2021 or early 2021, but they didn't say any of that. All they said was it was delayed to 2021. That makes me think, Forzathon, that it is not early. I think it's going to be summer at the earliest, and yeah, it could be next fall. I know that sounds crazy and a huge bummer, but like I said, I think if it was early, they would have outright stated it to make that blow a little less painful. So I would say summer 2021 at the earliest, Forzathon. And yeah, potentially next fall. It really could be. It's a bummer in a lot of ways, but the good news is I think the next time we see Halo Infinite, it's going to look a lot better. I really do. If they made this kind of a move, that means they're going to make significant changes, to be honest with you. If they thought even if it was somewhat buggy, but they could get it out the door in time for this holiday and whatever, just patch it and fix it later, I think they would have to capitalize still on the Series X launch. But the fact they were willing to delay it makes me think this game's going to get significant works and significant changes. So if you delay it a year, I mean, you can change a lot in a year. I don't know that it's going to be a year, but let's say it's even next summer. That's a year from now, right? We're in August. We just saw this game in July. So that would be an extra year of work from what we saw in July. So in a year, you can change a lot. In 3 months, not so much. But a year, I think it's going to look a lot better the next time we see it. Split End 89. What are your thoughts on Control's Ultimate Edition policy? Oh yeah, this one's interesting. And do you think the current blowback will make them reverse course? I noticed Ultimate Edition was trending and not for a good reason. Well, thanks as always for being here, Split End 89, for being the best moderator in the game. We appreciate you modding chat. You're the man. Yeah, so I'm a Remedy fanboy. Anyone that knows me knows, if you watch me here on YouTube, if you follow me on Twitter, I love Remedy. I'm a huge fan of Remedy. I love Alan Wake. I love Control. I love basically everything that they do. And even I can't defend this. This is just not good. So for anyone that missed it, basically, Control is getting next-gen enhancements. It's going to get ray tracing. It's going to get all this awesome, good stuff. The PC version of Control is already amazing looking. Now, I don't suspect that the next-gen versions will get the full ray tracing that the PC version has, because PC version of Control pushes ray tracing to the limit. It's amazing, but still definitely some ray tracing in the next-gen. But you will have to pay for it if you have to basically buy the Ultimate Edition to get that. If you right now own Control, just the regular game, or even if you bought the Season Pass, you're not getting those enhancements for free. You have to buy the Ultimate Edition to get that. And I can't defend this. I just really can't. I feel like we're in a scenario now where so many are going to give you free upgrades. We know Microsoft's doing it with all their first-party games. We know that, CD Projekt Red announced it with Control. We've had multiple third-party developers announce this. So I just feel like charging for enhancements is crazy. I mean, in a world where, we've had not cross-gen, where we've had mid-generation refreshes that have had patches, where we have PC that just consistently gets better. It just feels crazy to me to charge for that. Of course, charge for DLC. Of course, charge for new content. Not always DLC. It just depends on the plan. But charging for visual updates, I am not a fan of this at all. I think it's a bad business practice. So will it make them change course? I don't know. But I think it's a bad idea. I'm not for this at all. I'm not for it at all. Costas, do you expect Horizon Zero Dawn to be at 15 million by the time the sequel releases? Yes. Yeah. What does Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Forbidden West, need to do in order to achieve 20 million? I definitely think Horizon Zero Dawn will hit 15 million by the time the sequel releases. That'll be 2021. We got the 10 million plus selling update for Horizon Zero Dawn a long time ago. So I think it'll get there. You know, I think 15 million by 2021 is doable. What does Forbidden West need to do to achieve 20 million? Here's what I think. It needs to be good, but if it is really good, it's going to have a much easier road than Horizon Zero Dawn did for a couple reasons. First of all, this is a sequel. You know, Horizon Zero Dawn was a brand new IP. Brand new IP is always risky, especially something like Horizon Zero Dawn, which clicked with me instantly, right? Giant robot dinosaurs, you know, this red-haired awesome girl in the, the destroyed world and science fiction. Like, this spoke to me the minute I saw it. But it is a completely sort of out there concept, right? So it was always, I feel like, kind of a risk, especially for Guerrilla, who had always made linear first-person shooters. They'd never made a big open-world action RPG. But Forbidden West now, people have played Horizon Zero Dawn. Many, many people love and like Horizon Zero Dawn. So I feel like Forbidden West out the gate is going to sell way faster than Horizon Zero Dawn did. And also, it's one of the first really big exclusives for PlayStation 5, whereas Horizon Zero Dawn came out, multiple years into the PlayStation 4 life cycle. We're not going to have many before Forbidden West, right? You're going to have stuff like Miles Morales, potentially Ratchet and Clank, depending on when that releases, but not tons, right? You're not going to have like just lots and lots of big giant first-party Sony games before Forbidden West. So all those really hardcore PlayStation fans who want to play the PlayStation exclusives, people are going to be pouring into that game. So Costas, Forbidden West has a much easier road to 20 million than Horizon Zero Dawn did. All right, we have 2 super chats that just dropped. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chats. Let me hit those. Kelligrim with another one. Oh my goodness, Kelligrim. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Saying, gotta head out, but keep up the good work. I'll see you around, buddy. Kelligrim, thank you so much. You're amazing. That's, I think, 3 super chats and 1 live chat. You're amazing, Kelligrim. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And Franklin Clinton, 98 with a second super chat. My goodness, y'all are so generous. Thank you so much, Franklin. Do you think all the negative press Avengers is getting... What do I say about this? Okay. Yeah, I do want to talk about Avengers. Do you think all the negative press Avengers is getting might end up boosting its sales? Since everyone is talking about it, Franklin, I can't go too in depth on this. But what I am hearing about digital pre-orders for Avengers is really high. Really high. Really high. Especially in the US. So digital. Physical, I don't really know, but I have heard from things I have seen and been told that Avengers is getting some real big digital pre-orders. So yeah, I think Avengers is going to launch really good. Now, the question is, of course, is going to be legs. Who knows what legs for Avengers is going to look like? It's impossible to know. But out the gate, Franklin, that first week, that first 2 weeks, yeah. At least, again, physical, I don't know. I won't be shocked if physical sales aren't that impressive, to be honest with you. Especially as digital has just grown so much lately. Like, it just keeps growing. And Avengers is the kind of game, it's a live service game, whereas, Destiny, for example, had massive digital share. Destiny 2, at the time when Destiny 2 released, its digital share was like mind-blowing, like crazy compared to a lot of games. So Avengers, I think, is going to be very digital heavy. So, Franklin, don't be surprised if the physical charts you see when Avengers launches are just kind of okay. But when actual sales come in, yeah, expect some big stuff. It's going to launch really big. All right. Back up to the questions here. Julio Pulido, Mark Cerny on the Road to PS5 video talked about RDNA 2.0 on the PS5, but I read on some websites that PS5 will use RDNA 1.5. Do you know something about it? The DualSense battery is a great upgrade. So Julio, I don't have any inside information on the technology of the PlayStation 5 other than what's just out there. I think it is RDNA 2.0. I have seen people saying, oh, it's not true 2.0, it's 1.5 with features. I don't know any of this inside information, not at all. This would be someone like Digital Foundry is going to have the scoop on this way more than me. So I'm just going to go with what's out there, what's public. I think it is just RDNA 2.0. I don't think it's a 1.5 or anything like that, and unless something comes out and gets like officially through a really trustworthy source like Digital Foundry. I'm not going to believe that. I'm just going to go with it is 2.0. In terms of the DualSense battery, yeah, I saw that leaked out. Someone was talking about it who I don't think was supposed to, who makes like third-party peripherals for the PlayStation. And yeah, it sounds like the battery's a really big upgrade, especially over the original DualShock 4. So that's good news, because my biggest gripe with the PlayStation 4 controller is just it dies so fast. I mean, it's crazy. It has no battery life at all. You almost have to charge it every day. Maybe you'll get 2 days out of it, but not much more than that. 2 days for me, at least with the way I game, it's about 2 days charge maybe, and then I have to charge it. So it'd be nice to get a little bit more battery life out of it. Kurogami saying drunk voice Benji or mosquito mode. I think we're in mosquito mode. I'm back to my normal voice, not ultra drunk sounding Benji from the last video. Yeah, that was crazy. I went back and listened to it afterwards, and keep in mind, live, I have no idea what this sounds like. So I see all chat saying you sound drunk, you sound, blah, blah, blah. So I was thinking it was like severely distorted, like barely understandable. So I was somewhat relieved when I went back and watched the video that you could at least understand me. It was just like, yeah, super deep. Where are we at in time? We've been going for a little bit over a half hour. We still got plenty of time. We're still good. Costas, could 2020 be Sony's biggest first-party year ever? The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and possibly GT7, all of them being at least 10 to 15 million sellers, plus Final Fantasy VII and Godfall deals. Costas, I think in terms of exclusive games, whether that is publishing deals like you noted with Final Fantasy VII and Godfall, or exclusive, Square Enix is still the publisher, but it's a signed exclusive, right? I think in terms of exclusive games, this will be their biggest year ever. Yeah, for Sony. I mean, you just look at that. You've got The Last of Us Part 2, which was over 4 million in 3 days. It was the fastest selling PlayStation game ever. You had Ghost of Tsushima, which was the fastest selling first party IP ever. You have Spider-Man Miles Morales, which isn't going to be as big, of course, as the original Spidey, but it's still going to be giant, and it is the flagship launch game for PlayStation 5 from Sony. So yeah, I mean, and then Final Fantasy VII, which is already over 5 million, and who knows how Godfall will do, but you get where I'm going at, Costas. I think so, yeah. In terms of exclusive games, 2020 is going to be their best ever. The only one that really would compete with it is 2018, where you had God of War and Spider-Man. But I think that the combo of The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spider-Man Miles Morales alone is bigger than that. So, yep, should be their record year. I think I saw a super chat drop. Let me hit that super chat. I did. I saw two of them. Timor again with the super chat. Thank you so much, Timor, with multiple super chats. Thank you so much. Big Fall 2021 game. Ooh, this is fun. Which game will take the crown? This is interesting, Timor. So what's going to be the big fall 2021 games? This is interesting. So Horizon Forbidden West is 2021, but we don't know when. It could be a summer game. You know, we don't know that it's fall, so I don't know for that. You're going to have Zelda next year. Zelda's definitely coming next year, I think. So you're going to have the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and we've all seen how enormous Breath of the Wild was. Ooh, this is tough. Call of Duty is going to be in there, of course. What will Xbox have? They could have Halo. You know, if Halo's pushed all the way back till fall 2021. Here's what I'm going to say, Timor, and this is a gamble because a lot of games haven't been announced yet, but I'm going to say Zelda. I'm going to gamble that Zelda is next fall. It could be earlier, though. It really could, but I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to say Zelda is up there as one of the biggest, as the big fall Nintendo game. I'm going to leave out Call of Duty because that's obvious, right? Call of Duty, of course, is going to be a top contender. I think it's too early for Rockstar. Whatever they're working on, their next game, which is, of course, Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't think Grand Theft Auto 6 is fall 2021. I'm guessing it's going to be the next year. So I'm going to be, I'm going to say it could be a toss-up between, not counting Call of Duty, because that's just too easy. I'm going to say a toss-up between Zelda, and if we're talking total players, Halo could be in there if it's a fall game. There's still so much unannounced. That's so far away. But whenever you think about who else is going to have games ready, that would be big. You know, there's not going to be an Assassin's Creed next year because we have Valhalla this year. I mean, it could be. I guess, actually, there technically could be an Assassin's Creed game. But I wouldn't expect it to be bigger than Valhalla. Peter, with a couple here, Halo Infinite, Breath of the Wild 2. Yep, this is how I'm feeling too. Peter, I'm with you. I think those are going to be the big ones. Call of Duty, of course. Breath of the Wild 2 for Nintendo, which will be gigantic, and Halo. I'm just going to guess because who knows if those games are going to come out then. But if so, yes. And then KH had a super chat, but it looks like the message was retracted. I am sorry, KH. I'm not sure what happened there. And then we have another super chat here from Frostbite. Thank you. I think that's your second one, Frostbite. Thank you so much. When do you think Ratchet and Clank, GT7, Returnal, and Demon Souls will launch? Fun. Okay. Let's go through these one by one. Ratchet and Clank, I think, is going to be pretty early, first half of next year. That game looked pretty far along, really far along, right? We saw a really big chunk of gameplay from Ratchet and Clank. So I think Ratchet and Clank is going to be first half of 2021, sometime in that first 6 months of next year. GT7, I'm going to guess... I'm going to put GT7 as next summer, like an August or September time frame. I'm going to go with GT7 then. I don't think it's sooner than that. Could be wrong. We saw gameplay for it, but I think GT7 is going to be like August or September-ish. Returnal could be pretty quick. That could be in the first 6 to 8 months of 2021. And Demon Souls is a huge question mark for me. I actually don't know anything about the development of Demon Souls. So I'm going to say first year, I mean, for sure. It's going to be in the first 12 months. Basically, everything Sony showed at their event was the first 12 months. Demon Souls could be spring. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Demon Souls is like an April game. I could see something like that. I could see something like a March, April, May for Demon Souls. But maybe I'm optimistic. Maybe it's not that far along, but I think it is. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on those. But fun question. I like questions like that. KH, here we go. Here's your super chat. It could be that Xbox Series X could have its first 6 months with no exclusive. That's huge. Yeah, it's crazy. will be a huge holiday for Nintendo, even if we don't know any games. Yeah, so Nintendo, we already know, is going to just completely crush it this holiday. They've been crushing it all year, and thanks so much for the super chat, Kay. Huge holiday incoming for Nintendo. They're breaking records this year, like shattering them. We don't really know the lineup for this holiday for Nintendo. I'm still assuming it's those Mario remasters and remakes. And I think Mario is big enough to carry it through the holiday with the momentum it already has by itself. So yeah, Nintendo should completely crush it this holiday, especially if they do finally some price drops and price promotions. Here in the US, it's still just been straight up $2.99. Even during Black Friday, it's been like $2.99 with a game. You know, they haven't done any kind of price promotion. So can you imagine if they drop Switch by like $50 over the holidays and have Mario? Yeah, huge. In regards to Xbox, yeah, that's a big blow. That's a huge blow. Like I said, they wouldn't have delayed Halo unless like they knew they had to they had to delay Halo. You would not do that unless it was vitally necessary, because now they have potentially, I think they'll have some kind of exclusives in their K. You know, they have stuff like the Medium, which is console exclusive, but I get what you're saying. No like AAA giant flagship game. And yeah, that's crazy. That is wild. Killian with the super chat. Thank you so much, Killian. Thank you so much. I wonder what's going on with Starfield. Me too, Killian. Me too. You know, I had talked about back when people were asking me what COVID impact was going to be, back when people were asking about delays and things like that, you know, way back. We're talking like March and April when this really first started blowing up. A lot of people asked me, what games do you think might get impacted? What games do you think might get delayed? And I said I thought Starfield probably got internally delayed. I had a feeling. You know, keep in mind, Starfield never got an announced release date, but through things that like what Pete Hines has been saying on Twitter and them canceling any sort of E3 or any sort of like engagement in terms of talking about it. Yeah, Killian, I think Starfield got delayed internally. Again, not publicly because it never got a release date, but internally I think it caught a delay. My guess, Killian, is Starfield will be late next year. So that's another game we could include in that list that Timmer was asking about for big fall 2021 games. I could see Starfield being fall 2021. I don't think it'll be before then, though. That's my hunch, Killian. All right. Let's grab a few more non-super chat questions now. Those are cleared. Thanks so much, everyone, for the super chats. Thank you so much. I'm glad we had a big, good turnout today. I wasn't sure because we did two live chats in a row. So I didn't know, but I really felt like I owed everyone a live chat after yesterday. So thanks, everyone. I'm glad to see a good turnout. Elias Stapleton, if Cyberpunk is delayed to 2021, very possibly due to 2020 things happening, predictions for Game of the Year winner. Thanks, my only question. Elias, if Cyberpunk were to get delayed, my prediction would be The Last of Us Part 2 would get the majority of Game of the Years. Not universally. That game was somewhat controversial. I mean, it was very controversial in terms of like the discussion online, right? But even I would say amongst media, there was a lot of the media loved it and adored it. But I have seen a few media members that were like, hey, you know, I didn't really care for it. But Elias, if there's no Cyberpunk, I think that your front runner for Game of the Year is going to be The Last of Us Part 2. That would be my guess. And I could also see Ghost of Tsushima getting some nominations. I could see Final Fantasy VII Remake getting a few nominations. Animal Crossing. I think Animal Crossing will get nominated. You know, a lot of people loved Animal Crossing. So I could see those. Those are kind of off the top of my head. But I think The Last of Us Part 2 would be your front runner. Yeah, Elias. I think that would be, if there's no Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk has real potential of taking it from The Last of Us. But yeah, if it gets delayed out of this year, I think The Last of Us is probably your Game of the Year. Another super chat just dropped. Thank you so much. Mariano Pampa, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just came in the stream. Sorry if you talked about this, Benji. What do you think about Control's upgrade to next gen only if you bought the Ultimate Edition? Mariano, I did comment on this earlier, but you paid for the super chat, so I'm definitely going to go over it again really quickly. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. My thoughts are I'm definitely not a fan of this. Not at all. You know, we live in a generation now, you know, kind of what I commented earlier. We see PC, you know, it runs better just depending on the hardware that you have. Very, you know, you're not really paying for better versions outside of buying better hardware. We saw, you know, mid-gen refreshes with PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X. And those patches, you know, you had better hardware, so you got better, you know, running games, and you weren't really paying for that, right? You just got the enhancements. You have Microsoft announcing their games like Sea of Thieves and Gears are all going to get upgraded for free next gen. You have CD Projekt Red saying Cyberpunk. You know, I could go on and on, Mariano Pampa. It's clear that so many third parties and even first parties are going to be offering free upgrades. I just think it's crazy to charge for that. And I'm a Remedy fanboy. I love Remedy. I love Control. I love Alan Wake. But yeah, I can't defend that one. I think it's a very bad call. I really do. I think that visual upgrades should be free. People should not be paying for that. It's one thing when it's a full-blown remake, right? Like Demon's Souls. Like, that's a literal new game. It's not a patch that makes the old Demon's Souls look better. They're completely remaking that game. Something like that, yeah, you know, charge $60 for it. But just enhancements? Nah, I'm not going to defend that. I'm not going to defend that. So that's my thoughts, Mariano. Thank you for the super chat. All right, we're going to go for another, we still got like another solid 10 or 15 minutes of the stream left, and then we'll call it. So I can still hit a lot of questions. Don't worry, everyone. I know there's a ton of questions in here, but we still got another 10, 15 minutes for me to hit questions. Ooh, here's a good question from Sean Torres. Benji, do you think morale must be low at the Xbox branch? It seems nothing but bad news coming out as of late. This is a great question, Sean. This is a actually very good question. Here's what I'll say. I think that there's definitely areas of Xbox that are probably feeling not great morale-wise. Like you said, there has been some bad news. Mixer, that completely went away. You had mixed reactions to their, I think it was May event, and now their July event also was somewhat mixed. You have Halo delayed. I'm sure morale at 343 is definitely not good. But I think there's also wins over at Xbox in terms of like Game Pass subscribers. Game Pass is doing amazing for them. So, Sean, I would say my hunch is it's probably not like a universally low morale over at Xbox. There's probably some areas they feel really good on. I'm sure that the team, for example, at Obsidian are feeling great right now. Grounded did really, really well for them. I think there's a lot of excitement around Avowed. But then you also have studios where like 343, there's just no way morale is just, great at 343 right now with the reaction and things like this. And I'm sure if you're involved in marketing for Xbox right now, it might be a tough time knowing that Halo's delayed now. And how do we talk about next gen without Halo when we've been talking about that for so long? So yeah, Sean, I bet you there's segments of Xbox that are feeling pretty low, but there's probably also some teams, I would say especially at certain developers, that are feeling pretty good. So probably a mixed bag overall. I had a feeling this one would come up. I'm going to address this really quick because I had a feeling this would come up. Patrick here saying, hey, Benji, yesterday you talked about PlayStation 5 having another title alongside Spidey. You said you can't say what it is yet, but will be an important one, or it's maybe on the scale of Astro's Playroom, ? All right, all I can say in regards to yesterday's comment is just that Spidey is not the only exclusive thing hitting, and no, I'm not counting Astrobot in that. hitting PlayStation in launch for the PS5. I can't go anything more into that. I'm not sitting here telling you there's a big unannounced game. That is not what I'm saying. But yes, there will be some stuff besides Spidey available for the PlayStation 5 at launch. That's all I can say. Can't go more into that than that. State of JCat saying hello. What is up, JCat? Diego saying hi. Hello, Diego. Vertical saying hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm trying to pick out some questions. Ooh, here's a fun one from Silenced. Why hasn't Sony made a bigger deal about the PS2's 20th anniversary this year, considering they celebrated the PS1's 20th anniversary in 2014, and the PS2 is the best-selling system of all time? That's a great question, Silence PP7. In fact, you know what? That's such a good question. I didn't even know this year was the PS2's 20th anniversary. That shows you how little Sony has talked about it. I just haven't paid any attention to I'm sure if I would have sat down and thought about it, I would have realized, oh yeah, this is the 20-year anniversary of PS2, but I just never really took the time to think about it. And yeah, Sony has not really made that known either. I don't know, Silence PP7. It seems like they made a much bigger deal about the PS1's 20th anniversary. Like you said, they had like a limited edition PS4. Does anyone remember that? Where it looked like the original PS1. It was like that gray, you know, the PS1 gray, and it had like the button on the middle of the DualShock was like the color of the PlayStation 1 logo. I don't know, Silence PP7. You'd think they would make a much bigger deal about it. PS2 is the best-selling system of all time. You know, made huge money for PlayStation. You would think they'd really want to be out there celebrating it. So I don't know. Silence PP7, I don't know why they haven't made a bigger deal about it. Could be because of COVID and stuff. You know, maybe the pandemic just affected, you know, what all their plans were for this year, but I don't know. It's a good question. Ooh, Jacob Ayers, good question. What's your launch predictions for the Series X now that Halo isn't launching with it? Yes, so I had someone mention to me yesterday on Twitter that, you know, I was talking about this, and someone said, hey, you know, it's not that big of a deal because these consoles are going to sell out this holiday regardless. And I do basically agree with that, Jacob. I think that November and December are mostly going to be as big as they ever were. Here's the problem, though. The problem with the delay is starting in January, once you get out of holiday and those really dedicated, really hardcore Xbox gamers get their consoles, that's going to drop off, I think, really fast, Jacob, unfortunately, unless Microsoft has something up their sleeve they're launching early next year that we don't know about. Because a lot of people forget Xbox One had a huge holiday. Like, it did amazing in the US its first holiday. It sold great. It sold fantastic. And then you hit, you know, springtime and it collapsed. Like, it dropped fast in sales that next year. And I don't want to say that the Series X is going to repeat that. I really don't want to say that because we just don't know enough yet. But here's what I'll say, Jacob. If there's no Halo, there's nothing big in that first half of the year, I am revising my predictions, Jacob, to thinking that Series X now is going to sell slower than I thought. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I thought that Xbox had a legitimate shot of taking back the US market, considering how much the Xbox One messed up, and they still were very competitive with PlayStation really over the course of this gen overall. I thought there was a chance. I wasn't saying it was a lock. Oh, wow, Microsoft's going to outsell PlayStation 5 in the US. Benji says so. It wasn't one of those things, but I was like, yeah, there's an opportunity here. Jacob, I don't think that anymore. I don't think they will take back the US market, at least not in that first year. Maybe once they start getting, you know, Halo and Fable and all this stuff start pumping out, then there's more of a chance. But I am revising my expectations to lower, not really holiday, but 2021, first half especially. I'm lowering my forecasts. Silence PP7, did you watch the new Cyberpunk trailers? Yes, I thought it was the best the game's ever looked. And what life path are you leaning towards? Nomad, Street Kid, or Corporate? This is tough for me, Silence PP7. I thought it was the best the game's ever looked. All 3 life paths looked very interesting to me. I know I'm going to experience at least 2 of them because I'm going to play through it on Xbox One X at launch when it comes out. Well, actually, it'll probably be on Series X or PlayStation 5, depending on when those come out. And then I'm going to replay it once they get their next-gen patch. So CD Projekt Red said that the enhancements for next-gen, it'll run on next-gen machines through backwards compatibility, but the enhancements aren't until 2021. So I'm definitely going to play through at least twice, once with just the regular game, and then once it gets enhanced. Right now, if I had to pick one of the 3, and I'm struggling with this, I think I might go Nomad. For me, it's Nomad or Street Kid. Corporate looks super interesting too. Like, all 3 of these speak to me, but I grew up in a rural area. You know, that's where I come from. The town that I was raised in and went to high school in was only a population of 4,000 people, you know, which isn't a big town, a big city. It's like a small country town, 4,000 people. So, you know, that kind of speaks to my roots, you know, in the Midwest. So, yeah, probably Nomad kind of speaks to me. I think that's the direction I might go. Harry Hoffert, hey Benji, a little off topic, but I'm curious. Do platform holders get a percentage of microtransactions from games bought on their respective platforms? If so, how much? Harry, they do. They get a percentage of everything sold through the PlayStation Store, whether that's or Xbox Store, whether that's movies, whether that's TV shows, because keep in mind you can buy those, whether it's microtransactions, DLC, whatever. I don't know how much though, actually. I don't know if that's the same percentage as they get off of a game. My hunch is it's not. My hunch is it's less. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. They should get some kind of cut, though, I believe. If I'm wrong on that, can someone correct me? But I believe so. I believe they would. I believe anything sold through their storefront, they would get a cut of. But I have no idea what that percentage would be. And if I'm wrong, I apologize on that. But from what I understand, yes. From what I understand, they do get a cut. But again, I don't know what that is. All right, we got time for just a few more questions. Just a couple more. I'm going to go for about 10 more minutes. So we're going to pick out the last few questions here. Thanks, everyone who's shown up to the chat. You're all amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to pick out just a couple more questions, and then we're going to call it a stream. JCat. Let's get JCat's question in here. Benji, if the Series S was to launch at 300 and the Switch did not have a price cut, but say did the Mario Kart bundle again this holiday, which do you think would sell more? Oh, JCat, this is a interesting question. If we're saying just Series S, I'm going to go Switch. Even without a price cut. Even without a price cut, I think Switch would outsell Series S at 300. I just think demand for Switch is so high, especially during that holiday period. And yes, I know that Series S is the launch of a new gen, but yeah, now that we have no Halo, it's still going to sell. It's still going to sell great, but I'm going to say Switch. JCat, I'm going to say even without a price cut, Switch outsells the Series S. I think so. Mexican Mickey. Hey Benji, do you think Microsoft had a hard time getting big third-party deals because they were pushing Game Pass and it's not attractive to publishers to be there on day one? No, I think it's more of a case of Microsoft was focusing on their first party way more than third-party deals. You know, they just bought all these studios. They just bought, I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but it's multiple teams. So they needed to really work and focus on getting those teams up and running, getting their games working, getting their games in progress, there is still a budget limit over at Microsoft. They don't have a blank check. So I think their focus really this past year has been on their teams, getting their teams to execute, integrating their teams. And I think that that's why you see less third-party deals, is just there's only so much money and time to go around. And I think Microsoft were really about, hey, let's get first party up, and then we can worry about third-party stuff later. I don't think it's so much because of Game Pass. I think it's more just a focus on their own first party. All right, I'm going to scroll to the bottom to hit a few questions for anyone that came into the stream late, so I can hit those. That way, anyone that came into the stream late can also get theirs answered before we close it out, because we're almost done. Ooh, fun. Cami Mendoza, do you think Sony will release DualSense controllers before the system launches, similar to what they did with the DualShock 4? Could happen, Cami. This has happened actually a lot of times in general with peripherals and accessories. So I could see that, Cami. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't say it's a lock, but I would not be surprised at all if you see maybe multiple accessories go on sale before the console. You might see that Pulse, 3D audio headset go on sale before the console launches. I think it's definitely possible. Selling an accessory is not really that big of a deal early. They might hold it, but sometimes they put that stuff out there early so people can go out, get their stuff, get ready, be ready for their system when it gets there. So Cami, could happen. I would say it's definitely possible. K. Asante. So with Halo's delay, what can Xbox point to as their Series X system seller? Are there other games we don't know about? Do they have a plan B we don't know of? K. Asante. Ooh, it's possible. Maybe they have something up their sleeve we don't know about. You never know. But I think Microsoft's going to really have to sell Series X now, not having Halo. I think they really need to sell it on ecosystem, on Game Pass, on, like I mentioned, if third-party games are going to run better, they need to be shouting that from the rooftops. Hey, Valhalla is better here. Hey, Cyberpunk is better here. Like, they need to be focusing, and I'm not saying that that's going to make them outsell PlayStation 5, but you have to pivot. You have to have a new, a new take, a new way of marketing, a new way of, because I feel like Halo was really going to be the focus. They were going to talk about all this too, but they were really, I think, going to push Halo and Series X side by side. I think it needs to be that now. It needs to be Game Pass here. All these games, these are going to be upgraded. They're going to play so great. Cyberpunk's going to play great. Like, that's what they're going to have to pivot to. I'm sure that they could have something up their sleeve in the first 6 months, but it's not going to be as big as Halo. Definitely not as big as Halo was. Peter 420 saying the control thing is more than likely due to the publisher, 505 Games, not Remedy. Yeah, I agree with you. Peter. But whenever I was saying, like, as a Remedy fanboy, I still can't defend it. What I mean is that a lot of times it's easy if you like something to take the stance of, oh, I like this thing, so I don't want to mentally go against it. But it probably is the publisher more than Remedy themselves. But regardless, whoever is involved with it, I just can't. I can't defend that. All right, are we done? KH with a super nice comment here. Remember the days we were 10 to 40 people in the chat, and now we were almost every time around or over 100 people. Great to see that. What a great way to close the chat out, Kay. I could not agree more. It's humbling. I remember back when this live chats first started. Yeah, I remember being super excited when we would have like 30 people in chat. It felt amazing. I remember the first time we hit 100 and I was freaking out. 100 people in chat. And now 100 seems to be our norm or close to it. And yesterday, before the audio issues, we were up to 150. Yesterday had the highest view count we ever had. We were over 150 in chat. And then, of course, my mic went out. So thank you, Kay. Thank you, everyone who's been here since the beginning. The chat keeps growing. It's really because of all of you. It's because of the great questions y'all ask. And it's great to see. It's great to see the chat grow. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to call the chat there. I have to go to work. I have to start getting ready and head to work. So thanks so much, everyone. Probably not going to do another live chat this week since we've already done 2, unless some crazy news comes out in the next 2 days. Who knows? If something explosive happens, maybe we'll have one on Friday or something. But as of now, probably not another live chat until next week. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it. Stay safe. Play some games. I will see you over on Twitter if you follow me there. Otherwise, I will see you on YouTube next week in the next live chat. Thanks, everyone. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We do 1 to 2 of these a week, and we love it. It's awesome. Thanks, everyone, and I will see you next time. Peace.